And welcome along to Aston Villa from the stands. I hope you're well. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening to whenever you're watching this video. Please do make sure you hit the like button on the way in or the way out. Make sure you subscribe to the channel and, of course, get involved in the comment section. Whether you hate it or love it, whether you agree or disagree, I want to hear what you've got to say. People, it's a Crunch Talk video. And Crunch Talk videos tend to send people one way or the other. Crunch Talk videos are those conversations that sometimes I think no one else wants to have, no one wants to speak out about, and it's got to be done. It's got to be done. After yesterday performance against Newcastle United, after the result of Newcastle United, we've got to talk. We've got to talk. Look, I'm going to be talking about Unai Emery. We're going to start on this guy, and that's where we're going to lead into Unai Emery. There has to be conversations about fans being able to speak freely about how they feel about Unai Emery without having, but in Unai Emery you trust. Oh, you're so toxic and negative, criticizing the manager. Oh, Unai's the best manager we've ever had. Don't be so ungrateful. You are allowed to voice discontent at our manager without being a toxic or negative fan. And if you are someone who's going to blindly back this guy, then make sure you do this with chest, make sure you do this all season, and make sure you're here every week. Because backing Unai Emery is absolutely fine. Good for you. If that's how you see it, if that's what you want, back him. But being told and being almost squashed for having an opinion on Unai Emery, I'm not having it. Maybe a year or two ago, it was like, oof, how dare you? How dare you say anything toxic or negative about Unai Emery? It was like fans were scared to say anything bad about the tactics, the formation, the selection. Do you know what I mean? You basically felt a couple of seasons ago, yeah. And even to this day, if someone wants to say something about Unai Emery, they always throw a positive sentiment in front of it. They always say, Unai Emery is world class, or don't get me wrong, I love Unai Emery, or I'm so grateful for Unai Emery, and then throwing the but I'm sick of this, or but I've got to question this, or but. As soon as you throw in that but, it devalues that first comment about him being world class, amazing, etc. And there are going to be people who are already nearly 3 minutes into this video going, oh, it's the same old rambling shit. Oh, it's the same old moaning. He's just, and I'm going to show you some of the comments again that I had on my match reaction yesterday. People seem to think that having an opinion, a strong one, and standing here with chest and saying it. And I think, again, I try to bring facts. I think I try to bring a voice, and I try to give fans the positives and the downside of things at Aston Villa. What we're not going to do is we're not going to put on our tinted claret and blue glasses. What we're not going to do is sit here and pretend the world's made of unicorns and rainbows. We're actually going to be real. And we're going to say how we feel without worrying about the backlash. So that's how I feel. We're also going to show up some of the fan standards. Some fans believe they've got the correct standards, or some fans feel like yesterday was a really good result. And again, I'm going off my comment section in yesterday's video that I will show you all. Basically being told as a fan that I'm so ungrateful that we didn't get a point. Fan standards are not matching the manager's standards. And as much as that seems a bit of an ironic comment and a juxtaposition as such, because I'm going to come in on Unai Emery in a second, the one thing I'm telling you is that Unai Emery is holding standards because the owners would demand that of him. And some fan standards are in the absolute bin. I don't care. Some fan standards are in the bin. Some fan standards are not matching the managers. Because why is my manager coming out and saying, I'm not happy with a point at home against Newcastle? I'm not happy with a point at home against Newcastle. You know? That comment in itself. And then I've got Then I've got fans coming in, pounding me, going, "You're so negative. You're so negative for not being happy about yesterday. Of course, we should be taking a point against Newcastle at home. Of course." Hold on. These same fans are the ones who are licking Unai Emery's ass, by the way. These same fans are the ones who are licking Unai Emery's ass and will not have a bad word said about him and coming in telling me, "Oh, you're so ungrateful." Yet on the other end of the scale, Unai Emery, the manager, has said it's not good enough. Fans need to get their standards in line with their manager if they're going to back him. Fans need to realise the operations that are happening at Aston Villa. And so when I come on here, and whether it comes across as passionate, whether it comes across as moaning, whether it comes across as grumbling and rumbling, what I try to do is keep it real and keep the standards of what Unai wants and what the club wants. And anyone who sat here and doesn't believe that the manager has been told, "Go get Champions League football and win a trophy," then you need to wake up. You need to wake up. If you don't realise that's what that's his agenda, that's his motives, that's his targets, then please wake up. And do you know what the owners aren't going to do? Oh, but PSR restrictions. Oh, but the league's so corrupt and unfair. Oh, but no. They're not doing that. The owners aren't doing that for Unai. They're not doing that for Unai. They're saying, "Here we go. This is what we need. This is what we expect." So listen, fan standards. If you're going to lick Unai Emery, if you're going to back him blindly, get your standards in line with him. Because when your managers come out and saying, "Hey, I'm not happy," then be careful. And finally, linking into everything together, there is going to be, I don't know if anyone else gets this feeling in the chat, and I'm going to acknowledge the chat in a second, because big up to each and every one of you. Your comments are just as important as my views, and I welcome into them. I don't know if anyone else has sat here feeling the same as I do, which is Villa civil war incoming. You will already feel it from yesterday's game. Who has been attacked for having an opinion on yesterday's game? I'm not saying his person out. Duncan, I know, who's in the chat. I saw him put a comment about Matty Cash, and he was getting criticised and attacked for it. The Villa civil war is incoming, is impending, and it's going to happen this season. Why? Because we've been spoilt for 2 or 3 years. We haven't had much to moan about. We've actually been quite blessed, and things have been good, and the trajectory curve has been going up. Then all of a sudden we get into Champions League, and the curve took a little knock. However this season goes, that curve could be taking a rapid downfall. But if you have been criticised for a comment you've made, whether it's on a content creator's post, not my channel, others, whether you've voiced it on social media, whether you have turned it into, your own thoughts at the game, I bet you got shut down for it. And that's my worry. As a fan base, we've had it so nice, so good, so positive, so brilliant for the last 3 seasons, that I feel that tensions are high now amongst the fans. I feel like tension is high, and that anyone who dares speaks out a little bit about being not happy or voices an opinion is getting shut down. So as a fan base, we have to come together, and that's why I'm saying now, chat, get your standards in line with Unai Emery's. Because that's where we go as a fan base. If Unai Emery came out, do you know what as well? On this as well, if Unai Emery came out and said, "My objectives are to finish mid-table and see what we can do," then we as a fan base are going to be going in a different direction. But that's not what we're being told. That's not what's being told. So we are going to go. I want to shout out all the people in the chat as well. And yeah, I want to shout out everyone in the chat in a second. Give me a second. Sorry, people. Sorry. Right, here we go. Big up to everyone. Opinions on here, and that's the one thing I'll say, is I'm not going to be someone who filters or shuts out opinions. If you completely disagree with me, fair play. The only thing I won't have, and there's one person who I'm going to call out called LTs. If anyone sees him or sees him comment, I've done a bit of stalking on this guy. He is someone who goes around and just is a negative. He trolls basically, but he comes with no substance and absolutely is there to be personal. Have a chat, be real, but don't get personal opinions. So I want to shout out loads of comments coming in thick and fast. Guys, run up the likes for me as well. Big up to British Mick in here as well. Look, let's put a little bit of positive news before we talk, which is true that Dendoncker is on Spain. And we didn't, we've got rid of more deadwood. Jacob Ramsey gone to Newcastle. But I'm more concerned about what's going on in our own back garden, in our own territory. And yeah, big up to Brainy for putting that in. Big up to Duncan. Bozzy said I'm still waiting for Gasson to get brought in as a sub. 100%. This is a great comment as well. Big up to British Mick. I'm not Unai out, I'm Unai listen. He's brought us so far, but his recent decisions are so questionable. It's like he got a week left and ain't bothered. I'm going to say this now. And I'll put this on record. I'm not Unai out either. And I think that's a great way to say it. We're not Unai out, but Unai listen. And everyone knows Luke from Up the Villa podcast. I've been talking to him again. We talk offline. We share ideas, we share thoughts, private ones, and obviously on screen. But I'm going to tell you a conversation, a question that I posed to Luke in a minute, and I want you as the chat as well to come in and give your thoughts on it as well. And again, it's not Unai out, and it's like Unai. I'm actually worried. I'm worried that things are going stale at Aston Villa from him. I feel like things are stale on the pitch, and I think stale is the right way and the right word. Because I'm going to give people time to think about this, but because I will go through the fixtures, can anyone tell me the last convincing performance you can remember from an Unai Emery Aston Villa side this calendar year? Just have a thought on that one, because we're going to come back later on the video. But when was the last time you remember a convincing performance? Not one bad half, one good half. Not, a good last 20 minutes. One convincing performance. Because I think that word stale is absolutely the word of the moment at the moment. I'm watching Villa and it feels stale. It feels there is a lack of creativity, a lack of quality going forward. I'm still sat here going, where are the goals coming from? And yet we still look a little bit spineless defensively. Where was the last convincing performance? I'll come to that. He hasn't been back until he is. I'll back him. If that's about money and funds, then I completely disagree on that. I think he has had money to spend. Yes, there's been PSR restrictions, but in January, getting Rashford and Asensio in, and Disasi and Malin is a manager who's definitely been handed the resources to help him. Big up to Matthew Mullins. Feels like being held back. Big up to Christina. Big up to Bozzy. Paul's in. Said, I just don't have confidence of Emery as it stands. We're going to go through that. Bozzy's still fuming about the players. New signs not giving him a chance. Echo says, Unai might leave us. He's frustrated by our financial ways, and I can see him choosing a way out of someone like Atletico come calling for him interest in one of that. I have got an Unai Emery interview that I'm going to play for you in a minute, which definitely echoes, excuse the pun, Echo Banger, echoes what Echo Banger's saying about frustration. You're going to hear the tone in his voice. Love that, British Mitt. Love that. And that's important. Emery doesn't seem to be as passionate on the sidelines as he was 18 months ago. A lot of people, Carl, have noticed and spoken about the fact that he was more reserved, sat back. Never seen Emery sit back so much. I think this is my thoughts. I think Emery is very much plan A. He has a plan A. He tactically prepares for plan A and wants plan A to be absolutely meticulous and planned to the detail. But if plan A doesn't work, he sat there baffled. In-game substitutions sometimes are a remnant of how a manager feels like he should be dealing with that. And I've got to say, that is something clear. But second of all, the baffling statement of a manager is, how often do we see him tweak in-game formation? How often do we see him tweak a different style of play? If Emery had it his way, he would slow the game down until he can. And again, I think his comments will contradict again an interview that I'm going to show you. But yeah, going through some of the comments, and then I'm going to get into the content I've got. I'm also going to say this, that the Matty Cash, we've got to talk about him as well. People defending Matty Cash, and I'm trying to work out what and why. This comment here. I'll put it out there. I'm becoming concerned by perceived player favoritism by Emery, and yet we spend millions of players to sit on the bench squad rotation. Again, something that British Mick was just saying, and something that is alluded to. I've been telling people in pre-season. Again, people sort of brushing off. John McGinn is more of a problem than a solution. John McGinn is a problem because he's our captain and he can't get in the double pivot. That's a problem. Plays negative in big games as well. I take, oh my God, big hands, huge shout. But yeah, we have played the same game since November 2020. Unai Emery is not the coach takes to the next level. That's what I'm on about. Tactically changing, Brian. The staleness at the club. Again, people, big thoughts from me are this, is that, again, Villa PR pushing out, unbeaten a whole calendar year. Oh, sorry, not lost at Villa Park, whole calendar year. PR driven to cover up a poor performance. We won't get better than Emery. Puzzled by some of the transfers when they don't get playing. So again, on that notion of we won't get better, I get that at the moment it feels like there's a lack of managers and a lack of sort of potential recruits. But sometimes when it's stale, you have to change it. But yeah, big up to everyone. I probably am miles behind in the chat. I've actually done like some really good prep before this stream. I've got loads of tabs open that I want to show you some stuff. So I may go to that. But if you haven't, make sure you like the stream. As I said, I'm a bit behind in the chat. But there we go. Right, I want to show you. Let's go to the frustration point in a second, which I want to absolutely show the cracks and woes of it. I love Emery, but his tactics are really bad sometimes, and his stubbornness not to use certain players. Plus, Emery wants to play Rodgers no matter how he plays. He wants to play him out wide as well. There is a big difference to genuine disagreement with a comment and blindly defend a manager who's the best you've known. He's not above criticism. I'll sit before and ask the questions. Correct. British Mick's got the attitude spot on. And if I wasn't putting it into good words, then listen to this man, because that's exactly what I'm trying to say. But yeah, even to everyone. Johnny Senna thinks he might walk this season. Look, again, Luke from Up the Villa, you've probably seen his content of talking about we're far too cautious. It's again something that we've talked about. I don't like the fact that we've become a fan base. We've become a team that is starting to worry more about the opposition than ourselves. There's nothing more poignant than going, we're fucking Aston Villa and we're going to play the game this way. And I don't know if anyone watched Man United Arsenal, but I saw a little change in mentality from Man United today. A team that went, we're actually going to start being Man United and we're going to actually play a bit more on the front foot. And we're not going to worry what Arsenal do. We want Arsenal to worry about what we're going to do. That shift in mentality. Remember, this was a very dusty Newcastle side who are in a bit of disarray off the pitch. I would have loved us to have gone. And if you looked at the team that played and beat them 4-1 last season and the team he selected, it's chalk and cheese because of the square pegs round hole scenario. Michael said, let's not turn to Arsenal. Is that as a fan base or as a team? This is absolutely spot on. PS had nothing to do with in-game stuff. And that's what I'm saying. You can't blame it. Kevin, agree with you 100%. Appreciate that. But this comments like this though also baffle me. By that token, if you can't change your opinion on Unai, I'm assuming anybody critiquing won't be going and won't be celebrating goals. No. This is where fans need to realize there's a difference in standards and there's a difference in supporting your team. Calling out things that you don't like and calling out things that worry you and have an opinion that maybe some are too scared to say doesn't mean you're anti-Villa. Doesn't mean you're anti the football club. We're not Unai Emery FC. That's why I'm baffled that sometimes he gets away with the criticism because people are too scared. It's not Unai Emery FC. It's Aston Villa Football Club. So you can critique and still support the club. You can still critique and want Villa to do well. Just like the people who are absolutely blindingly supporting Unai, blindingly supporting players, they still want them to do well. And guess what? When they have a bad game, they're still going to support them. When they have a poor game, they're still going to support them. It's about supporting the football club. So I don't like those comments are so. I can't even think of the description. Just so like, come on. What are we doing here? We all support Aston Villa. We all want the same. Some of us have different levels of standards. Some of us will probably think we should be winning the league. But my manager, and that brings me on to it then. That's where I'm going to go to it. And I agree on this as well. Criticise, but let's not lose our heads. So if you are someone who is basically saying, which I got in my, and the reaction of this video, by the way, comes off the comment section from my reaction video that I did yesterday. The amount of people who were telling me that yesterday was a good point, that we should take it. And then going back to stuff like, well, Newcastle battered us opening game a couple of seasons ago. So it's a great improvement. I'm sat there going, what are we doing? And then Unai Emery absolutely just silences the fans because he says the following. Here we go. Let's get the first piece of content on the screen. Sorry for the delay on this, but I'm really enjoying this. I promise you I will go through the chat. I will be able to go through it, but as I said, I'm probably miles behind in the chat, miles. But yeah, people, we've got over 100 of you in here. Make sure we are running the likes up on this. But yeah, let's see what you guys are saying. But yeah, here we go. Unai Emery. I am not happy with 1 point at home. Okay. Unai, but I've got fans telling me that we should be. I've got fans telling me, what am I doing? Saying I thought that was a disgrace that we didn't get 3 points at home against a weakened Newcastle side where things were feeling good for Villa. In a game when Newcastle didn't have a number 9 on the pitch. But no, I've got fans. Yet my manager's got the standards that I'm trying to hold as well, which he's saying, quote for quote, I'm not happy with 1 point at home. Okay, next part, though, is where I've got to disagree with Unai. So I'm agreeing with Unai, and then I'm basically disagreeing with him. But against a team like Newcastle, they made a lot of good chances in the first half. Yeah, if Newcastle had a number 9 on the pitch, we could have been cooked. We could have been cooked. But luckily, they didn't. Okay, so the next point. Second half, we dominated more, created chances, but the red card changed the match completely. I don't agree with that sentiment, and I want to know what people in the chat think as well. Do you believe that we dominated more in the second half? As in dominated the game, or basically, he's been very clever here, second half we dominated more. Well, let's be honest, it couldn't have been anything would have been an improvement on that shower of shit in the first half. So I bloody hoped we would be dominating more than what we did in the first half. And that's very clever in a way to say that. Oh, we improved our first half into our second half. It's very clever. That's very crude. But also, that's a bit like, come on. And then I looked and thought, again, feeling of the game is, yes, we maybe pinned them back a little bit, but I felt Newcastle still created a bit more shots and opportunities, and I felt they tested Marco Bizot's goal more than potentially we did. And maybe, just maybe, I felt that they had a lot more of the ball. Yes, maybe they weren't as clinical, but from what I remember, Newcastle were entering our final third a lot, and probably if they were a little bit more clinical in front of goal, they would have done better. That's what I felt. So, red card, by the way, the red card, I just want to be clear, the red card happened on the 66th minute. So, with, 24 minutes to go in a 90-minute game, again, changing it, yeah, it might have changed your big push at the end. It might have changed your big substitutions to throw an attacker. But it didn't change the game because it was still flat and stale from Villa. It was still like, when are we and how are we going to score? Nothing changed. So anyway, I thought I've got to fact check this. I've got to have a look at this. So Unai Emery is telling me that we dominated the second half a little bit more, and he felt that we had the upper on the second half. Okay. Have a look at this. So it's clever from Unai because he's basically saying we improved on our first half. These are the second half stats of yesterday. Unai Emery, you've just seen the quote from Unai, said we dominated the second half. We're much better in the second half. Okay. We didn't dominate the ball, Unai. Newcastle certainly had more shots. Our difference was we had some shots on target. Newcastle, I'm thinking of the Fabian Schär, the Gordon efforts that just flared over the bar. Again, we just run up the stats. Accurate passes. Oh, look. They've run more than us. They sprinted more than us. This is just the second half. This is just the second half. The only thing we dominated on is shots on target and cards. But it's just all, you can see it is all Newcastle. So I'm saying that was just the second half stats. And you can see it there second. If I go to all, that's the site of all. Aston Villa at home in the Premier League opening game, and that's what we produce. That's what we produce. Chat, expected goals and shots on target, whether you like XG or not. Please tell me where the goals are coming from this side. And what I want to say is, I don't care what Newcastle done. I don't care if Newcastle scored 5 or 6. I don't care if they didn't score yesterday, which they didn't. What I care about is my manager and his quotes. Because that's where I'm bringing the fans to account. My manager's saying a point's not good enough. My manager is saying a point is not good enough at home. So he's our standard. Because anyone who says in Unai we trust will trust his comments to say the point wasn't good enough. But he's lying about the fact that we dominated the second half against Newcastle. All it is that we improved from our first half, which cannot be a running theme. It's at home. Our fortress. Yeah, that's all I'm going to say. And you as a fan base cannot, because I'm not, and maybe you are. You can't be seriously thinking you're going to be happy again with a season of one shit half, one good half, or one really average half and one okay half. We have to find 90 minutes, and that's why I said, and I'm going to go back to that comment in a minute, which I spoke to Luke about, because I'm going to go through it in a second, because this isn't just a one-off absolute meltdown because of yesterday. No. We're being real here, and we're looking at the fact that patterns were emerging last season. It's not about one game. Anyone who thinks I'm feeling like this off one game, you have to know this is about last season as well. Because last season, performances were stale, they would dry up, and it was a game of two halves. It cannot be a game of two halves when you wear the shirt of Aston Villa. It certainly can't be a game of two halves at home. I'm going to try and catch up with some of the comments, and then I'm going to show you the Unai Emery signs of frustration in an interview, and I've heard him snap for the first time. But there you go. I like this comment. Whenever you find yourself on the side of the majority, it's time to pause and reflect. I like that. Hello, big up Ant as well. Okay, it's absolutely okay to criticize and speak up about what you have concerns about. All voices matter and no wrong. Exactly. And that's I'll stay by that. And in the chat, if we are going to have this Villa civil war, I'm saying, but hopefully, I want the chat and this community to be able to debate properly, integrally, and seriously without getting personal. All football opinions are important. If everyone in this chat just sat here and went, "Oh, I agree, Josh. I agree. Well, I'm questioning. We don't want puppets. The fact that people do agree and actually back it up, love it. And the fact that people disagree and then back it up, I love it. And those of you agree, I always find you come with comments of agreement as well. This is it. First game or not, nothing changes at all from last season. Static play, no pace, no creation, pass around the back to mess up and hoof it away. All the weaker squad. The trajectory. Let's have a look. Michael says, before we go into meltdown, 6th to 8th. Based on yesterday, if yesterday and the back end of last season is a thing to go on, I think top 8 will be tough. We have to beat Brentford, the team that everyone's predicting to get relegated, that everyone who, again, opening weekend have said Brentford are screwed, Brentford are in trouble. We've got to beat Brentford. That's when you know where, again, I know it's only like game number 2, but we have to beat Brentford. Make sure you are running up the lights on the stream. I would appreciate that. That massively helps me out. Thank you. Ross is celebrating the Donkeys transfer. I think, like you say, we've had 3 great seasons. I think maybe this year we'll just consolidate and go for Europa League. I think we could be doing Spurs, yeah. But yeah, we've definitely got to beat Brentford. Nearly 300k gone. A Bale and Dendon leave as well. I need to get Jaden H4 and a left winger in now. But we can't spend, apparently, Ben. That's what we keep getting told. Celtic at home, Newcastle. Beating Newcastle last season, good performance. Yeah. Again, interesting that everyone said that. But yeah, about there. Yeah, just been a lot of bad performances this year, and just Spurs, City, Nottingham Forest are the only teams that look good. Forest surprised everyone, I think. I think these preseason 100% on this. I again, people who've been on my shows, how often have I said our preseason preparations feels like a mess? It felt like 3 stages. The first 2 games, Hansa, Rostock, and Walsall. What a freaking waste of time that was. What a waste of time playing Hansa and Walsall was. Then we go to the US. Again, for me, the US tour now needs to be binned. The US tour seems pointless. We play on crap pitches. We play Mickey Mouse MLS sides. And we basically, for me, go through there just for an intense climate endurance camp to get fit. And then we do that traveling. And I just think it's commercially great, but actually been the US tour. And then the best part of preseason was doing Roma, Marseille, and then Villarreal. But we panicked and had to put Marseille and Villarreal right at the end because we realised that our preseason preparation wasn't very good. So yeah, I agree on that. Yeah. People saying about that, about Brentford. But yeah, Johnny in the house. Johnny Hole. I love this. 2 semi-final quarterfinal, bottle everyone by parking. That's crap. Right, let me show you. Let me show you the interview. Look, this as well. For me, Villa are getting boring to watch. Stale, stale, stale. Villa. It. I would love to know, how we could get more attacking prowess without it coming through our fullbacks. That's what I feel like. Let the fullbacks defend now, and let's get more attacking prowess from out wide, from our Mallons, from our Evan Gessons. Let's stop relying on the fullbacks and inverting players in. Let's get some directness. That's why Marcus Rashford, in a way, is a breath of fresh air, because it was like Luca Dean just sit back there, pass the ball wide, and Rashi's going to run at them. But there we go. There we go. No, I'm not on about changing Emery. I'm about bringing fans into the same standards of Unai Emery, especially those who are licking his ass and basically telling people to stop criticising Unai Emery. And basically saying, well, make sure your standards match him, because Unai told us it wasn't acceptable yesterday, but some fans are. But yeah. Yeah, I love British Mates Passion. Unai took us from relegation for me. Unai's a man for us. Michael, this is the thing though, and this is again, you've set me up in a nice way here. We have to stop going on about the pre-Unai era. 3 seasons now. We can't go, under Gerrard and back in the Championship with Rotherham away. No. You don't do that. You don't just get the right to go, well, he did pretty well because everyone else was crap. So now we just need to take our gas off. But again, it's not our expectations that need to be lowered. It's either the board and the owners, or we need to raise them. But guess who's not going to lower their expectation standards? The owners. Narcís Suarez and Wes are not lowering their expectations because they're pumping as much money in the club as possible. They're trying to make as much revenue as possible, and they're trying to build the greatest infrastructures ever to make us challenge for the top, to make us win trophies. We're not Aston Villa mid-table. We're not Aston Vanilla anymore. We're not Aston Vanilla. We're trying to aim high. But Unai is actually, in tongue-in-cheek way, we are becoming a little bit vanilla. But yeah. So, interesting comment here. Unai Emery's most attractive thing about the club. No Champions League, worse squad than last season. If I'm a player, right, and I've just signed for Villa, and it's the Unai Emery effect, do you know what I'm going to be starting to do? I'm going to be starting looking at the new signings who have come to Villa and how they've got on. Apart from Morgan Rogers, you look at Onana, you look at Maatsen, you look at Donyell Malen. We're probably going to see it with Evan Gessons. You look at it with Ross Barkley when he's fit. Jaden Philogene. New signings are going to start looking that Unai doesn't play us. Unai doesn't exactly use us. He stays with the old guard. He stays with the loyal and trusted. He stays with players he knows. That's a genuine feeling as well. Like, I'm getting that. Even in the chat, we all say it. We all say it. Oh, Unai, he beds new signings in. They take a while to come in. Oh, okay. Well, that's not good, is it? If you're a new signing to do that. So yeah, you don't see Pep Guardiola and Arne Slot bedding in his new signings, does he? Oh, what opening game for Liverpool? Kirkes, Frimpong, Wirtz, Ekitike all start. But I thought you meant to bed players in. Oh, right, those guys want to, win the league, and so when they sign new players, it's to improve their squad and use them. And that comes back to the Evan Gessons yesterday and Donyell Malen. Just not given enough minutes, not enough starts. Maatsen not given enough minutes or starts. Onana not given enough minutes or starts. And again, Onana, you can tell the way he plays. that he's not had enough minutes in the last year. Liverpool start their new players. Oh, let me check Man City then. Did Rangers and Cherky play, guys? Oh, they did? Okay. What about Man U today? Now, they wouldn't have started in Buemo and Cunha, their new signings, would they? Straight away from the off. Oh, what they did? Oh, okay. Yeah, but Man U are dusty. Oh, Arsenal didn't start Zubamendi and Gyökeres. No. Oh, right. Yeah. You see where I'm getting at here? Play the new lads. Or what's the fucking point? What's the point? What's the point? We may as well sign a player in January if we're going to bed them in. In fact, if you probably look at past history, Morgan Rogers, Asensio, Rashford, January signings, apart from Donyell Marlin, my heart goes out to him. January signings seem to get more of an opportunity than summer signings. So why make signing? And again, go through a lot of clubs and see what they do with their new signings. You don't hear bedding in. And do you know what? The only manager, and again, and this is how I'll be real. There was one team who didn't bed their new signings into there, and it paid off. But if it went wrong, the fans would have been unhappy, which is Nottingham Forest. And somehow Nuno's pulled a worldie because he's had so many nil-nils in pre-season. He goes and plays the same lot, and they go and do the job. You think, okay, Nuno, not bad, mate, not bad. But new signings, you tend to use them. So, yeah. All on Unai, no pace communication between us, all things are stale. Correct. Right, let me get into this. So let's go on to this. Where's my Unai Emery thing? I think it's this one. Right, people, have a listen to this Unai Emery interview. Okay, hopefully it works for everyone. So it's from TalkSport. Just have a listen to this. I'm going to put my headphones on. Have you ever heard Unai get like this? Be honest. Have you ever heard Unai Emery get like this? Are you ready? Where's my play button? Here it is.
Shots and at least 2 on target.
I remember 2. Okay, it's good. They play good, yes.
Did you think your team started well? Shots and at least 2 on target.
I remember 2. Okay, it's good. They play good, yes.
Did you think your team started well?
The first half. Do you want my analysis, or you are going to do analysis?
No, I'm asking you to explain.
No, you are doing the analysis. You are not asking me for my analysis.
Okay, so
you are doing your analysis, and you are not making question for me.
Okay, so what would you like to say about your team's performance? Because after a tough first half, were you happy with the way that they performed in the second?
Okay, I'm going to answer now. Okay, but my opinion, not yours. The first half they played better than us. We weren't dominating the match like we planned.
There we go. Unai Emery. Snappy Emery. Hopefully you could all hear that. Did everyone hear that all okay? Look, I know that journos have to get content. And so sometimes they ask some of the most annoying comments. Do people need to hear that again? Do people need to hear that again? Let me know if you didn't hear it. But have you ever heard Unai Emery snap at that? And it was a little bit of arrogance come off. Do you want my opinion, my analysis, or yours? Okay. So that suggests to me he's hearing noise. He's hearing the noise. He heard the noise the back end of last season, and he's hearing the noise again. I thought that was interesting. A frustration. Body language yesterday at the game. You know, people come in the comments today and said, body language, sat down. And now I'm hearing this after the game. Sam Matterface is asking pointed questions. I might listen to it one more time. Let's just take the context of what Sam said. I was listening more to Unai, but I might go to Sam Matterface's comments again. Mike said that was on Unai yesterday, but where we are is also thanks to Unai, nothing else, just Unai. That's a really good statement, a really good sentiment. And I think that is correct that Unai, without him, we wouldn't have got the European football and his formula. But he himself knows that he has to recycle and improve because he can't just fall on his past achievements. He can't just fall on 2-3 seasons ago. He has to realise that every season it's a fresh take, a fresh go. But I think this is a very good comment, Michael, actually. I think that does bring good perspective. Do you know what? I'm going to play that one more time. I'm going to play that one more time. Let's just listen to the context of Matterface again. Let's listen to the context of Matterface again, because I was more focused on Unai, but let me just try and lock in on that.
Shots and at least 2 on target.
I remember 2. Okay, it's good. They play good, yes.
Did you think your team started well?
The first half. Do you want my analysis?
Okay, there. Bosh. Okay. What is that trait there? Sam Matterface has asked a very normal question, in fact. He's asked a very normal question there, chat. Sam Matterface asked Unai Emery, were you happy with that first half? And instead of just answering the question, Unai snaps. Just answer the question. He snaps. Frustration. Clearly, that first half was completely below the level. I think that's an okay question. So I think actually, yeah, at the moment, Matterface not doing anything wrong. What's wrong with that question? What is wrong with that question, chat? Let's keep going.
Or you are going to do analysis?
No, I'm asking you to explain to me.
You are doing the analysis. You are not asking me for my analysis.
Okay, so could
you are doing?
I don't agree with that. If he's asking the question, did you think the first half was good? That's asking for analysis. He's not saying, in the first half, Unai, you had X amount of possession, or in the first half, Unai, I felt you were a little bit off it, and your players couldn't complete a pass, and people looked out of position, and it was a little bit flat. What do you think? That's a normal. Like, he hasn't tried to give analysis there. He's actually just simply said, there you go. Michael said, sorry, Michael Dimmer, I just seen your message come through. Your chat's been blocked. I don't know if that's been done by mod or something, but I'll try and look at that in a second, Michael, if you can hear me. I'll try and sort that out.
Your analysis, and you are not making question for me.
Okay, so what would you like to say about your team's performance? Because after a tough first half, were you happy with the way that they performed in the second?
Okay, I'm going to answer now, okay? But my opinion.
So basically, he's saying, "Oh, you don't want to answer my questions, so how about you just say what you want, Unai?" So I come across. Well, I don't think he actually. Yeah, okay, Michael. I'll try and sort that out, mate. I'll have a look. I don't know why, Michael. I don't know why. I'll see if I can work that out for you, Michael. But yeah, honestly, Unai, I thought he's a little bit snappy. That's a man under pressure. Right, let me tell off because my ears are going to be boiling. So yeah, there we go. There we go. So interesting point on that one. I don't think Matterface has done anything wrong there. But yeah. Sharik says, too many happy clappers. They think the idea of real fans make excuse of anything bad and only finding positives in everything they can. No ability to be objective. Interesting. He signs Marlon and doesn't start him. He signs Gaston and doesn't use him. He continues to play Rodgers up percentage, continues to cash, but we're getting targeted where cash plays. Horrendous, isn't it? Emery ain't above criticism. Correct. But some fans will tell you. I will show you, again, comment section of this. Yeah, I hate these sort of comments as well. Sharik's on it. Tribal fan member said, "Oh, go support Blues then." Yeah. But yeah. One game in, we're panicking. Did we lose? No. Okay, we aren't great, but I can't believe people are selecting Emery. What do some of you want? This is what I mean, Stephen, though. Come on, man. You know the game. You know the game. You know the drill. Yesterday wasn't acceptable. And it wasn't just on yesterday, it was last season. Here's a thought. Your expectations are great because of the manager. Start to understand what he said about buying players. If the money was there without restrictions. I've heard that. But I'm sorry. Even he knows he can't use an excuse because guess what? He's not going to Nassif Suarez and Wes Edens and going, guys, I can't do my job because of the financial stuff. You know, you're asking me, guys, I can't win your trophy or get Champions League football because I think we're a little bit limited and shackled. Do you know what they'll turn around and go? Okay, we'll find someone who can. Because as owners, we want Champions League and to win a trophy. These owners have bought Villa to win a trophy. They've literally, they're obsessed with the idea of it. Unai, if he goes and says that, it's going to be told. Well, we'll find someone who will then. You can't use this. You can't use that as an excuse. You can't use that as an excuse. Yeah, correct. Top 7, top 8. Yeah. Right, let me again, I'm so sorry, I'm quite behind on the chat. I might have to skip a lot of it to come in line because I'm so far behind. But yeah. Why am I doing this? I guess again, I will show you the comment section in a bit. Right, I've done that section. Let's have a look at this as well. Okay. Let's touch on Matty Cash. Let's touch on Matty Cash in a second. I'll show you the comment section first, and then we'll do that. By the way, I can see this. Big up to Michael, who's been a member for 32 months, one of our own, absolute legend. Guys, if you want to help support the channel, you can do so by becoming a member. You just need to press that join button. I usually put a link in, but I haven't today. But yeah, become a member. And big up to my guy, Alan Ford, my lord. Alan Ford, my lord. Alan Ford. Alan Ford, my lord. Alan Ford. Oh, Lord, Alan Ford. He said, teardrops on the gang again. Alan, it's a pleasure. Hope your golf's going well, mate. Good to see you in here. But yeah, it's people are getting it so wrong, thinking I'm doing this after one game. That's what's frustrating me. That's what's frustrating me. This isn't after one game. Begin on, yeah. Struggle. Momentum starts when football do show we had just taken control of the match when red card came out. Again, just don't understand we were trying to shorten the match and conserve energy. Exactly. We're playing patches. Think he went out planning not to lose and hoping to win. We should have gone out planning to win, hoping not to lose. I'm not worried then. I'm definitely not going to lose my head over it. Exactly, Michael. Good, calm head. And look, some of you, look, I like it. Some of you are very calm in this chat. Some of you are very level-headed. It's good. I get to see your personalities through your comments. Some of you are very level-headed. Some of you are very like, a bit like me, I guess. And some of you are very like, you don't want to hear anything apart from what your thoughts, and that's fine as well. And I love it. These interactive live streams I love because it does create debate. All right, I think I've got to skip the chat because I want to get in line. But yeah. See if I've missed it. I'm just scrolling as quick as I can, see if anyone catches my eye. Andy says, you're absolutely right, Josh. The game was there to be won yesterday, but we didn't take the game to them. We're way too slow. It's become a trend on the United. Yeah. Why does a team like Bournemouth always turn up? Both halves? Exactly. Jimmy says, now you can see why Arsenal got ready. He's okay in the Premier League, but he would take us any further than where we are now. Let's wait and see. This is the season. This is the season. I'll be honest. Again, a player I'd love to sign is Semenyo. The thing with me is that Unai's trajectory has been nothing but upwards. And I said this is the season now because we went backwards last year by finishing the Europa League. This is the season. And if we go even more backwards, that's when you go, oh gosh, the trajectory of down, then up, that curve. Sometimes, do you know what? I'll be honest. Unai's biggest downfall? Did too well at the start. Too successful at the start. Unai's biggest downfall is that he was too good at the start. I'm going to put that one out there. That is almost his downfall. How crazy is that to say? But I actually believe that. Unai's biggest downfall is that he set the bar so high early on. He's not left that room of gradual improvement. I don't know if you guys believe that. I don't know if you guys agree with that or not. Let me know. But do you not think that he's actually come into the job too good, too flying? And gone there. Too many fans want to be called a big team, big club, but don't want any of their expectation. Yeah, that's it, Sharif. I want to go up against Liverpool, Man City, Arsenal fans, look them in the eye and say, we're a big club and we've got big club mentality. And I think our owners embody that. I think our owners absolutely embody that. And I think Unai, in a way, does as well. The standards he sets. He's just now struggling to meet them with the demands, the expectation, and maybe being found out a little bit. We haven't, Johnny. Exactly, Jimmy. When have we ever been a 90 minutes team? Have I missed when we were prime Barcelona? I just think more consistency, though. But yeah, that's a fair point. Tielemans and Nana should start as a double third. Best balance, drop Rodgers to give him a kick up the ass, says Paul. Do you know what as well? Kamara, I think, is going to be a player I'm going to keep an eye on. I feel like since I want to see a new deal, is he downgrading? I just want to see. Not again. Something I'm going to watch. Something I'm going to watch is Kamara. Nice one for sparking debate. Too many other Villa content is too nice and boring. Yeah, I'll be honest. I prefer these. I love these sort of discussions. I'm just terrible at keeping up the chat. I hope you guys appreciate that. I'm trying my best to read as many of your comments as possible, especially when I'm so far behind. I'm just doing my best. Yeah, I agree, Andy. We're calling for the subs. Duncan, the question is why the players didn't get a start now again. Subs on too late. It's true. But yeah, totally agree that no one's closed for Christmas. And this conversation is 10 matches in 4 points, as it was yesterday, I understand, but not one game. Listen, it's not one game. I'm going to keep trying to reiterate that because I've just made the point. When was the last time? And people are right. Newcastle, hammering Newcastle. When was the last time we thumped a side and played emphatically? Is probably the way I'm probably trying to say it. And I think Newcastle, PSG are games that come to people's mind. Where am I? Yeah, I'm going to show you then this. So this is my next point of aim to show you. So why am I doing this again? I'm going to show you the Matty Cash stuff, but I'm going to go to this first. I'm going to go to this section first, which is and I've sort of left this on purpose because I didn't want to lose any of these comments, because if you respond or like them, they go. So I'm sort of going to leave this. So these are the video comments on my reaction yesterday. Okay. These are and shout out to anyone who does comment on my videos and those of you on the live chats and my uploads. But these are the comments that I got yesterday. And I'm going to skim read some of them. Again, some people are in the same camp. Hopefully you can see them all fine. People questioning there. I watched them sending off again, and Conte didn't have to make the foul. Gordon's direction as runners not directed towards the goal, which would give Conte a chance to get possession tackle. Interesting. I sort of disagree on that because I think Gordon absolutely is streets and nails above him in terms of pace, but I need to find some of them. Yeah, look, and this is where it's good because you get to see the snuppet people who are talking about Mal and Gesson coming up. Same players, same problems at Oyster Naval. To see that performance very disgraceful by Bayern support is very disappointing. Well, I'm not going to say it was a good performance. I'm not going to say it was a great performance. I thought it was a disgraceful first home game of the season, which we've been waiting for weeks and weeks. Said it in a reply to big up to Adam. I know he's been in chat. Said it in a reply to someone else. And it's blatant now. Unai can be coward with starting 11s. Should try being a hammer. That's true. I know John, I put a long quote, and I'm going to respond to a lot of these, but I wanted to save it. I spent just under £200 for free tickets today. If that was me, I'd be calling it a disgrace. I really would. The positives, though. John said we didn't lose and kept our 22 there. Unai Emery would say, though, that's not acceptable. We gained a very important point where last year we lost the game in the last 15 minutes. That would beat Newcastle, though. Things can get better. Bloody correct on that one, Jono. No one was injured. Good. We have a very good backup. But point 3, 4, and 5 is not a team that should be trying to get into the Champions League, if that's the points we're making on game week 1. But big up to Jono, legend in the chat as well. Thank you for commenting. We've had somebody that can score an assist over last season because of the bullshit rule. It's true. That's true. You only cut us last season because Eddie was in hospital. Didn't even think of that. I'm sorry, I don't agree. Cash played well today. Yeah, people were mixed on Cash. Stop being negative. We were hamstrung by the PSR. The positive, you can't win. I'm not. No. This one. Lost 5-1 opening day against that lot and finished the season 4th. Calm down a bit. So if we had lost, some fans would have been happier, I think. There we go. It might be only one game, but it was only goal difference that cost last year. Every game, every point matters. Did you hear Emery on TalkSport after? He's very frustrated. Yes, this is a good comment. Let's see. Here we go. Andy, big up to Andy who's been in the chat. He never drops right. Yeah, I think these are comments that people are going to, and that's the point of this video today. I think people are going to start turning on Emery. And yeah, it's very split. Again, Duncan getting, I think, like, attacked for criticizing Cash, which I don't like. But yeah, calm down. We were poor, fair enough. After Ezra and back, sat back, so it's a point gained. It's not a point. I don't think it's a point gained. In fact, do people ask? I'm going to come out of that. Do people actually see it as a point gained yesterday? Seriously, because again, the manager doesn't. So I think let's go on to Matty Cash. I love that Michael and Kevin want to keep me cool. I need people like that in the chat as well, no doubt about it. Big up to Michael and Kevin. I'm gonna have to think of a nickname for you two. But yeah, Kev said, I feel right in Villa and Emery off too early, Josh. I'm concerned about us, but if anything, Emery has a habit of proof. Look, it's been Kev in the chat. You know me. I feel like I've had this gut feeling about this not being a good season, and I think I've had it for a while, and I think I've had it going into the way in which we've crawled over the line a little bit last season, and then the transfer window. And everything, and then I was watching pre-season, and I just had this gut feeling. Now, again, I want to be wrong. If I'm wrong, it means Villa are doing well. Gut feeling says to me that this is why this video made that Villa Civil War. I think we're going to have a really topsy-turvy clashing season. We're going to have some games of brilliance. We're going to have some games of absolute brilliance this season. And then we're going to have games where we're going to want to poke our eye out. Gut feeling is that I can only go off it. I don't know what's making me feel it. I think the downward trajectory. I think there's a lot of pressure on Unai, and I just have to look. I looked at that football yesterday, and I thought, I can't do another season of one really terrible first half and the second half mid. We're not going to win enough games there. So. But I've got to keep reminding myself it's what the owners want. But I thought Newcastle, I said it in my watch along yesterday. Newcastle looked a yard quicker, a yard stronger. Technically, they were better than us. Look at the passing stats. Newcastle had a bit more physicality about them. I actually think that Newcastle looked sharper in all aspects. Maybe that's because I'm looking at John McGinn trying to charge down the right wing and be like, absolutely no idea what he's doing. Again, not his fault, played out of position. Because there was a serious lack of pace in that side. A serious lack of pace and dynamic structure to us. Michael said we looked like we didn't have a pre-season where, and the scary thing is, Michael, we had a lot of games in pre-season. So if Unai Emery, those of you who are saying, and those of you who are still sort of very in favour and interested in Unai Emery, let me ask you this then: is Donyell Marlon starting against Brentford? Yes or no, chat? In your opinion, is Donyell Marlon starting against Brentford? Yes or no, chat? Let me know. Yes or no? Just straight out. Yes or no? Is Donny starting against Brentford? Yes or no? If you trust in Unai Emery, you know he's going to play him then, right? Is he going to play Donyell Marlon? A lot of yes. Nobody should. Exactly. He should, but he won't. No chance Marlon starts. Yeah, the hope so. But, and this is it, he has to, exactly. He definitely should. So when people come in Unai Emery, we trust, and if someone who says that, believes that, then this question should be a straight up yes. That question should be yes. You shouldn't even have to hesitate. And if you're someone now, and this is where I'm trying to get you to see where you are as a fan, if you're someone now who's saying has to, should be, but won't, then it's not in Unai you trust. And that's where I'm at. I don't quite trust that Donyell Marlon. I'm questioning it. I think that's the best way to navigate where you are. Because every single one of us believes that Donyell should be starting because of what he did in pre-season and because we need that pace and width. Josh, you love to stir the shit by constantly slagging our manager and saying he has pressure on it. I'm not stirring anything. I don't get the stirring. I'm basically just trying to talk about how I feel. I'm lucky enough that I've got a channel. I'm lucky enough that people want to tune in and talk. And so I just like to sit on a camera and rant and vent and talk and positively or negatively or cautiously or questionably talk. But I'm here to stir. I can't stir the decision of if Unai Emery stays or goes. I don't get that decision. But if you can't see that he's got pressure on him now, I don't understand. I don't understand how you can't see that he's not got pressure on him. Of course he's got pressure. He's managing a massive football team who's won the European Cup in 1982, who has a heritage, has a history of winning trophies, and is going 30 years without winning a trophy. And someone needs to break that voodoo. And Unai Emery is being believed as that man. And I hope he is that man. So, of course, there's pressure on him to win a trophy. Of course, he's under pressure to win the Europa League. People, what are we doing here if you don't think he's under pressure to win the Europa League? Everyone has already put Villa as the favourites to win that competition because it's Unai's trophy. Of course he's under pressure to win that. From himself as well. He's set that standard for himself. And if you're someone who's not putting pressure on him to win a trophy, then you're the type of person who loves a participation medal. Let's not play in Europe if we don't want. Let's not play in Europe if we don't think we should go and win it. Do you know what I mean? Have your participation medal and let's keep participating. Or there, and I'm going to keep bringing up Unai Emery quotes this season to show you that this guy knows he has to win a trophy. Pau Torres interview pre-season. He's basically said it loud and clear. We want to win the Europa League. It's what our expectation is. And it's not, and again, like I'm seeing what Leon said. Leon, it's not me who's saying this. I'm not, you forgot how fast we've risen. No, people are forgetting. People are forgetting. I'm not the one who's saying, I'm saying to Unai in a boardroom there. And it's made me want to now get out the Pau Torres pre-season quote. Pau Torres pre-season. I've got to find it. 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 He basically said, the manager said, Europa League. Pau Torres, Europa League. It's one of those. I should have bloody. Standards. Here we go. Standards. Standards. Here, I found something. Not quite the one. Pau Torres and what he wants to achieve. I also want to fully compete in the Europa League to try to win it. Play in the FA Cup final and get rid of the thorn of the Champions League with Aston Villa. Perfect. Pau Torres. Someone who wins trophies. Okay. Someone who knows what it is to play for a big club and win trophies. Someone who actually has come from a culture of trophy winning. And he's saying, I want to win the Europa League. I want to play in the FA Cup final and get rid of that. I wonder who that comes from. When you go into work, you know what your company's objectives are. You know what they're trying to achieve. You know what they're setting out. You don't just go blindly in and go, let's just sell some stuff. No, you've got targets. Who's that? Who's that? Who's that set by? Who's that set by? Who sets the goals? Who gets the players to speak on the same hymn sheet? When you go into work, you're all off the same hymn sheet of trying to achieve the same objective. It's right there. Yeah, everyone in chat, loving all the discussion, debate. Make sure you're hitting the like button for me. I want to show you this next part then. The Matty Cash, right? Matty Cash. I've been desperate to do this one to show you. John McGinn would have accepted. True. True, Michael, true. Would you accept the 20 million offer from McGinn? Yes. Yes, I bloody would. Should you take guess on that? Yeah, he's probably going to be on the bench for a while. Agree? McGinn was poor. Yeah, it was. You're never selling McGinn. What? McGinn's a problem because he's the captain and he's going to take up people's playing times in the wrong positions. Because unless Kamara or Tillemans gets injured, and there we go. Right, this one. So, stats. Depends how you want to look at a stat. Depends how you want to look at a stat. Lock in for this one. Matty Cash has made more blocks than any other player so far in the Premier League. One game in. Matty Cash blocks. Well done, Matty. Blocking, stopping goals. Good. Good. That's a positive Matty Cash stat. Some would say, I'll play devil's advocate. If you're having to make blocks all the time and throwing your body at it, it probably means you've either been skint or you're out of position. That's devil's advocate. And a level-headed person would say that's a top defender who one-on-one is able to stop the opposition and has good mentality. And basically, defensively, structurally, really good. Depends how you want to look at it. Blocks could either be out of position all the time, getting caught out, last-minute recovery, or a very solid person there. But then, if you want to paint another picture of Matty Cash, which is, by the way, this is where my issue is. It comes down to Unai. Matty Cash. 0 accurate crosses. Zero accurate crosses, Matty Cash. Now, if anyone was on the stream with Luke and myself the other day, Luke was telling me about he feels like Matty Cash is hindered by Unai Emery. It's the way that Unai wants him to play, and we are criticising Matty Cash because that's how Unai wants him to play. And I said, how interesting is it? When we look at Matty Cash, we think about his forward play, never his defensive play. And it is true. We rely on our fullbacks to give us that attacking width because we want McGinn and Rodgers, for example, inverting in. If we're not going to play wingers, we expect our fullbacks to do it. So Matty Cash has to then be judged on his attacking stats. Matty Cash has to be judged on his crossing, his dribbling, his beating other players. Now that again is with the manager, and that's what I'm calling for. Let Matty Cash and Luca D. Let Matty Cash do his blocks and defending. Let him be a defender. But let's let wingers go and attack. Tell your fullbacks to stay in. Tell your fullbacks to go more traditional and have wingers out wide doing winger stuff. So it doesn't work, Dean and Cash as well. I agree on this one, Gary. And I think, Cash going forward is an absolute mess. And that's why our fullbacks right now, we need to find a new way to use fullbacks. I think it's a massive issue, and maybe that's why Matty Cash gets spotlighted and criticised more than ever, because he's being relied on to go forward so much. So then we have to look at this for real. I've got a full screen in a minute. I can't play this clip because I don't want to get copyrighted. But you make your mind up. Is this on Matty Cash, the goal? I'm going to try and do it frame by frame. I can't play it. Okay. If I can just go back I think I can quickly do. No, I want this. Can't quite get the frame. Okay. Maybe it's the next frame. So annoying. So yeah, you can see it here. Matty Cash goes to cross the ball in this position here. It's hard to see because it's a frame by frame, but I'm going to try and do it with my mouse. Okay, where should that cross come? Look at his body shape. His head is up. He can see. I want to know what he's trying to pick out. This is a little bit of a positional thing for McGinn and Kamara. Both don't need to be there, in my opinion. I don't understand why McGinn and Kamara are both there. That cross has to come in like that, because you've got 1, 2, 3, especially Amadou and Anna here, unmarked. A juicy cross into here for Amadou to run through and bosh. Okay? That's the cross. His body shape, the technical, there's the ball there, by the way. His technical ability here to cross the ball and his body shape is absolutely wow. You've got Bruno who's going to cheat. You've got Elanga who's going to cheat. And where does the ball go? There. Now, people will say, cross crap, but the ball travels half pitch, not Cash. Okay. So, this is the one I'm going to use in a second, because I don't know how many people are aware of Matty Cash. Sorry, of this situation in a minute. I'm going to talk about. So Matty Cash gives the ball away there. Say Onana passes the ball where Luca Dean is, right here. Okay, let me ask you this question. Say Luca Dean here goes to try and has the ball and he goes to switch it there and he gets his pass terribly wrong and it goes into Gordon there. Yes or no, if they went on and there's a red card, is that Luca Dean's fault? If Luca Dean's got the ball at his feet here and he goes to try and make a diag, and this is the example I'm trying to make. If he goes to make a diag and gets it so wrong, it ends up going to the path of Gordon. Would that be Luca Dean's fault? Yes or no? Because if Luca Dean does that and gets his pass wrong and they go and score the red card, I'm blaming Luca Dean. Yes. I'm blaming Luca Dean. We're hounding Luca Dean. We're hounding Luca Dean. If Luca Dean gets the ball here and he can't make that pass and he goes into there and they go, we're hounding Luca Dean. So what's the difference of Matty Cash? Because this is about a professional footballer's technical ability and decision making. That cross should never be coming there in a million years. That cross should never be coming like that in a million years. Never, ever. It's just as careless. It's just as careless as Luca Dean playing a stray pass. Someone tried to tell me Cash busted a gut to get in. He's there. Okay, this position here. This is where Consonos is cooked. Maybe Mings is positioning him. He's not sure whether he should go engage. Maybe Mings should have covered. Okay, maybe it's there. And at this moment, someone said that Gordon was going right. At this moment, I don't understand how this is Ezri's fault. I don't understand how this is Ezri's fault. I can only sort of go here. And the reason why I'm saying it is Ezri Konsa has everything right. His body position, because he's got his eye on the ball. He's looking, can he intercept that ball? It is not his fault that he is not at the same pace as Gordon. That's something you can't physically, you can't change that in a game. You can't change that Gordon is quicker than him. So next frame 33. Consonos is cooked. Should he be making the foul there? I think, I don't know if I can naturally. Think out that moment, Ezri knows. Because if Gordon's first touch goes into that space there, so the next touch from Gordon, all he has to do is kick the ball a little bit further forward. He's going to outgas Ezri Konsa. He's going to. He's going to. There's no debate about it. Gordon is miles quicker than Ezri. And that's when he knew that he had to foul him. Goalkeeper didn't know where to come as well. But I don't know. Someone's just said that Ezri's trying to play offside. But that then comes back to Cash. That comes on Cash then for me. That if you're going to criticise Ezri for trying to play the position of it, Ezri Konsa, positionally, him and Mings would be squeezing that halfway line higher because Matty Cash has got the ball here. Ezri Konsa and Mings have to be squeezing into their own half and have to be positioning high. You can't see it off camera, but I would expect Mings and Konsa to be around here, just off the screen. Just off the screen. I've got to say, McGinn and Kamara, that position, Kamara's position is the worst one for me. Kamara's position is the worst one for me. Kamara needs to be 3-4 yards here. Why Kamara is so close to McGinn, I don't understand. Kamara is 3 or 4 yards in here. His reaction's also very slow. I don't understand this. Like, this is not Ezri Konsa. Not once is he trying to go to the ball. His head's on the ball. Mings is actually the one facing the goal, thinking, "Shit, I need to sprint in," but then turns. Look at this from Mings. Mings is facing that way, and then turns his body to run the other way. Whereas Ezri stays consistent. Ezri doesn't change shape. All that Ezri Konsa is down for, all that Ezri Konsa is being done for, is not being quick enough. So I'm going back to it. The defenders are in the right position. It's the execution of Matty Cash's cross. I stand by it, which led us to a goal. You can't have the technical ability of a Premier League player to cross a ball like that. I'm blaming Kamara's positioning, but he would not have expected such a shit cross from Cash. It has to come across like that. It has to come across to the 6-yard box like that. Has to. End of. And just like I said, if Luca Dean had the ball here and tried to diag and ended up passing the ball to bloody Anthony Gordon, it'd be a different story. Why do Sheffield United fans hate Kiefer Moore? Big up to everyone in the chat. Why do Sheffield United fans hate Kiefer Moore? What is Kiefer Moore blamed for at Sheffield United? Someone tell me in the chat. Someone tell me in the chat what Kiefer Moore is blamed and his status is at Sheffield United. Kiefer Moore is blamed for costing Sheffield United the playoff final because he gave the ball away on the halfway line as a striker. Like that's where it's at. Sheffield United lost to Sunderland because Kiefer Moore played a careless pass while Sheffield United were going forward. Yeah. While Sheffield United were going forward, Kiefer Moore lost the ball. Sunderland get it, put in the back of it, and they're in the Premier League. What? Don't give a toss. What are you doing, guys? I'm using an example here. I'm using a proper example here, relating it to Matty Cash. Kiefer Moore gives the ball away, which leads to the Sunderland goal. We're lucky it didn't go back in there. Matty Cash has given the ball away and attacking foot, whether it's a cross, whether it's a pass, whether it's that. But you say he gave the ball away, a 5-yard pass that a child can make. I would say a 5-year-old. I would say that any kid knows that a cross goes in across the 6-yard box there because of the positioning of Amadou Onana, Donyell Marlon, and Ollie Watkins. All three of them are on the 6-yard box. Like, that's how I feel about it. I'm passionate about that. I'm passionate about the fact that if I was coaching, I'd be looking at that myself, and I'd be hounding whatever age. What's that cross? Who did you see on the edges? But yeah. Their attack is that much quicker than you. You need to give them an extra yard in a situation where they can break on us. But it's so negative, that thought. It's so negative because we're on the attack. You expect Cash to put a ball in. The position of Ezri Konsa and Mings shouldn't have to think, I need to drop off 2 or 3 yards. It should be, I'm in the right position. We're set. Let's see. They're set up in the correct position. It'd be, and if Konsa and Mings were too deep, and Gordon got to run at them and they were too deep, people will be criticizing them too deep. I think their position is right. You have to be wary. Anything could go wrong, though. You can't just let Kamara off because he didn't think the cross go around. There's always a chance. Yeah. 4 players in the box, less than 12 hours. You cannot miss everyone behind them on Cash. 100% for me. Correct. He has his head up in the clip. He has his head up. He can see where the 3 are. It's like a goalkeeper playing out from the back and ignoring the players in position while playing out. And going for another direction, going into a midfielder who's not on. So you've got Mings and Konsa free to play out from and could go sideways. And you've got Kamara doubled up on, and you go into Kamara instead of going into those two. But yeah, I'm shocked that people are coming in on Konsa for his position. But yeah, Moore's gone to Rex, and that's how much I don't like him anymore. Correct. The cross was shocking. We didn't need that many people forward. And this is my thing, right? We're trying to score. So I think we have to be committing players forward as well. But yeah, it's interesting. Good tactical insight in there. Some of you are going with the midfielders. I agree, to be fair. The more I look at it, I think Kamara and John McGinn have to have a look at themselves and go, why are you so close to Cash on the cross? Josh Luke, yeah. Look, at the end of the day, I people know I don't rate Matty Cash. Simple as that. And I will tell you now, if that's John McGinn doing that cross, it's the same energy. And guess what? People who like to crash in on Ollie Watkins, if it's Ollie Watkins doing that, it's the same energy. Don't care who it was. It's just unfortunate it's Cash. And guess what? That comes back to Unai Emery. I don't rate Cash. I think we can upgrade on Cash. Unai Emery is going to stick with Cash. So he's going to put him in these vulnerable positions. So if anything, Unai Emery is putting Matty Cash in these positions. He's actually putting Cash on a pedestal for criticism. Simply isn't comfortable going forward. But Emery's trying to get that out of him. That's how I see it, Av. Can't fault Cash in the sense of he's not the one who picks the side, he gets picked. But whoever that was crossing the ball, I'd have had it. It's just unfortunate. Yeah, the left-footed cross. I even said to Luke Kevin in private, and guess what? Cash got massively I massively praised Cash for that assist. Where he chopped on his left foot. Am I right in thinking that? And that comes down to recruitment then, avfc 85. No one's taken a spot, so how bad must be? Honestly, we will absolutely praise. I think we will praise Cash when he does well. Cash, again, I think there was clips last season where I said Cash has had a turning point. But yeah, the cross from Matty Cash for me is unacceptable as a pro. And the left-footed cross is better than his right foot. I honestly believe that. Matty Cash's left foot cross is better than his right foot. Look, classic. Someone actually said this in the chat earlier. I think it was Sharik. So here's my point, chat. Sharik actually called out in the chat, said, the classic insult is thrown at someone and said, you're a Blues. And look, I swear in the blue. But yeah, look, obviously, positives yesterday are, as Johnny put in the chat, Marco Bizot showing that he's more than established to be a number one keeper. We didn't get any injuries. We are unbeaten at home. That stays the same. But I like the debate. Some people think it's Concer's fault. Some people think it's Cash. Some people saying someone else. For me, you're going to have that. And structurally then, if we're going to look at the centre mids, again, structurally that comes maybe from Unai Emery and how he's setting up. Yeah, we have no style at the moment, Conrad. So there we go. But listen, Brentford now, best thing that can happen is we come back with a massive performance, Brentford away. There has to be a massive sign of improvement. Has to be a massive sort of feel-good factor and a few goals. That's the key one for me. Can we create and get a few goals? So, yeah. I agree. I feel sorry for Andreas Garcia. I really do. We have a clean sheet too. Not often. Yeah, clean sheet. Let's put that as a positive as well. That's a good one. But yeah, do you know what? The biggest thing I think as a fan base, we want to see the new signings of Daniel Marlin play. We want to see Evan Gasson or Daniel Marlin from the start now against Brentford. I think that's the big one. But there you go. Just watch Luke's analysis, see how wrong you are, Josh. I have watched Luke's video. But yeah, Cash stats were the best out of all defenders playing yesterday. Again, I've already said he did well defensively, but I've said that his cross led to, for me, the red card. But look, I've done a lot of performance analysis. I've used Optastats. I've used that sort of stuff before when working at football academies. Like doing that sort of stuff, I've done that. And yeah, like in terms of the tactical stuff, though I probably don't say it as much or don't do content tactically, it's something that I have studied, and I just think that I think Concert and Mings' position is not the one to blame here. I think that's really, you can't anticipate such a crap cross, and that's my last word on it. You as a pro don't expect a fellow pro to have such a crap cross that you put on the edge of the box for Newcastle to go start their own counter-attack. And it hits the penalty spot, fine. It hits the 18-yard box. You almost as a pro cannot anticipate that for your starting position. And the way in which speed, and that's the other thing that's not taken into consideration, is the speed in which players move at. But yeah, you can't anticipate. I don't know. I feel like it's hard to anticipate every wrong decision in that sense. Guess on nothing else is fast. I honestly think it could be one change. One change. I want to. That's the phrase, Kev. Unleash the beast. Only 4 starters at the Newcastle were Emery signings. Damn, he doesn't like his signings, does he? A point against Newcastle Open is absolutely fine. If we beat Brentford, we have more points at this point last season. 4 points after 2 games if we win. Point against Emery said it wasn't fine though. I would agree with what. But yeah. I don't know. But I've enjoyed tonight. I'm going to wrap up. We could go on for hours ranting Villa or discussing Villa. And I think it's been a really good fan channel debate. I've had my say and you guys have had yours, and that's how it should be. That's how it should be. I think my overall... cheers, Stephen. I would say this, is that I'm not... And I'll just reiterate my points as started. I'm not Unai Emery out. I'm certainly not Unai Emery out. But I am Unai... Things need to change. Second of all, I am 100% behind the notion of that he is not someone who is above criticism. You are not a toxic fan if you criticize Unai Emery. I think fans need to have a look at the standards in which Unai and the owners are setting, and that's what we should be following. And then finally, basically, be prepared for civil war. If the season goes as I feel it like, it's going to be nuts every week with the arguments. But we're all here for it, and it's done in good spirit. So there you go. Again, Josh, yeah, again, him and Kamara, weird positioning. I'm glad you enjoyed it, Ross. But look, albeit, do you think we'll beat Brentford? Yeah, I think Aston Villa, I back Villa to win the majority of games. I back Villa to win most games we play because I want us to win. I rarely predict us to lose. And that's where I think people get confused. People think I'm here to be negative or to don't support the club, as Latiz tried to say. No, I genuinely predict us to win most games. Blindly, faithfully, loyally, passionately, stupidly will predict us to win most games because I support and want Aston Villa to win. And that's where people sometimes get confused. I'm not praying for a downfall of Villa. I'm praying that we get Champions League football and win a trophy this season. But I just maybe say it in a different way. But yeah. It's tongue-in-cheek, mate. There's civil war. You're part of the civil war. You're literally probably the leader of the army that I'm fighting, LTs. Like, it's not negativity. You're part of it. Like, come on. You're literally here to not talk, but belittle. But yeah, blessings to everyone. Big up to everyone. Up the Villa and all that jazz. In the trenches we go. Get your hats on. Get ready for it. And yeah, we'll be ready. I'm going to be back as always. Take care. Much love. And yeah, shout out to everyone in chat. And finally, big up to Michael and Alan Formanord for the super chat. Really do appreciate it. And yeah, up the bloody Villa. and see you all again. Get that notification bell on. We'll have more streams like this. Great show, great comments, great people. I'm out of here. Ta-da.